on the board over there.
Hello, sports fans.
Forget it.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a no, it's not Monday. It's Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show.
Feels like a Monday.
Doesn't it always on one of those? I'm like this. My whole brain is off and will be all week long because it is Tuesday as we jump in here and we got a long weekend of sports to talk about. IndyCar Tim is with us here from our Dallas affiliate, FanStream Sports, DFW, and has all the IndyCar information that we were just talking about on the pre-show that I needed to know. That was not explained to me after the race. What's up? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. It is a day now removed from the 109th Indy 500, and I was shocked to come on the air or come on the stream this morning, and you started asking IndyCar questions like right off the bat, man. It's going to be a good day. Yeah.
Of course, the Rays have won 6 in a row. We got plenty of Rays coverage coming your way. In fact, we have a Rays pregame happy hour tonight for you kids at Riveters. So come on down and join us, whether you're going to the game or not. You can watch the game at Riveters. If you're going to the game, you definitely have to come for happy hour. We'll be there from 5 to 6:30, enjoying all the wings, the $3 domestic beers, the $5 well drinks, all the good prices, all the great food. Give me a prime rib sandwich as well. So come on down to join us at Riveters for a little Rays pregame party and happy hour. We may have some surprise giveaways for you as well that we are working on as we speak. So John Hill, I expect you to be at Riveters today, and any of you who are going to the game or not going to the game, just want to come watch the game at Riveters and watch some we got hockey and basketball tonight as well. So come on down and join us. So we'll get to the Rays. We got some Bucs stuff. I got a little bit of Rays breaking news over the weekend. I had a little source inside a very musty Tropicana field that they're getting ready to repair.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Seems sketchy.
Seems sketchy. Yeah. So we'll get that. We'll get to that. I had a little go around with the Orlando people this weekend on Twitter. Want to get into that? Mm-hmm. I went to a Orlando City soccer game for the first time at their wonderful stadium, their downtown stadium, which is really cool. Really good atmosphere. About half full though. I thought that was very interesting for a city that it wants 81 Major League Baseball games that can't fill 17 soccer games when you only have 2 professional sports. Okay, 3 professional sports with the 2 soccer teams they have there. So we'll get into that a little bit. Triggered some people over there, which we love to do, right?
We need to call this segment "Fun with JP's Twitter." It's a regular thing now.
I do enjoy triggering people. That does, I won't go back and forth with them. Maybe a couple, but not. They want to go. To write 17 different things, and I'm like, I don't have the time for that, nor the inclination, nor the interest to go back and forth with you as you go looking up your statistics and spending hours crafting your tweets that I'm paying no attention to. But whatever, good for you. We just like to trigger you and see where you go. It's kind of fun, right? It's kind of fun.
It's great.
We'll check back in a week after your 17 unanswered tweets. It'll be fine. You just keep going at it, partner. Anyway, so we'll get into that. We got Indy 500. We're going to talk about the SEC meeting starts this week in the Panhandle, and Greg Sankey fired off a couple of great quotes. As much as I as an ACC person, well, I'm not even an ACC person. We're just in the conference. My team is in the conference, but we still hate them. It's a very weird dynamic. I'm now cheering for the SEC as a conference against the ACC, even though we're still in it, but not for long. It's a weird deal. It's kind of a weird deal, but anyway. So we'll talk about that because they're basically running college football right now, and they have no desire to give up any power whatsoever, and make it an even playing field for everybody. No, they have no desire for that.
It's all about the money.
It's all about. It just means more.
Yeah,
just means more money in their pocket. Basically, we need to add to the SEC. Their mantra. It just means more. Yeah, just means more control, more money in our pockets. Screw the rest of you people. That's what it really should read. That's what it needs to.
True. I don't care.
It just means more. ... More money for us, more power for us. Screw the rest of you people. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. But anyway, we'll talk about that as well as we roll through. And of course, we always invite your comments. You can do that on YouTube. You can do that on Facebook. You can do that on Twitter at the JP Peterson Show. Please like and subscribe all to all those things. All right, so let's get into the Rays. 6 in a row now. They beat the Twins last night 7-2. A really good Twins team. Twins team have been playing really, really good baseball. So they're doing something now. The starters over the 6-game stretch, a 1.5 ERA. Is that good? That's good.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. And of course, they're starting to hit the ball. They win 13-0 on Sunday. I get them all those days mixed up.
Yeah.
In which case, the great John Schneider, or whatever, the Toronto manager. Did you see that quote?
I did not. No.
So I retweeted the whole thing. I really do kind of want to read the whole thing because it's absolutely insane. Like I never thought I would hear a manager say something like this.
Oh no.
Yeah, he said he basically said it was too hot. And they're not playing in a major league stadium. So
wow.
his team, just really, really couldn't kind of get it going. Let me see if I can find the exact tweet here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
I replied to it, or yeah, yeah. Like, and the shot about not playing in a major league stadium is kind of rich, since during COVID, Toronto had to come down and play in a minor league stadium in Dunedin for a little while. So I mean, it absolutely kind of ridiculous. Here it is. He said, I know that we're capable of doing that, manager John Schneider said. I think that today was the first time halfway through the game that the environment creeps into your head a little bit. It's tough. It's really hot. The environment is just different. I don't want to say that we're spoiled, but everyone has earned the right to play in the big leagues at a big league ballpark. So I think that creeps in a bit today. The highs and lows, we have to figure that out. We have to be better at being more consistent. That's when you see the true identity of who we are. What?
What in the world is he doing?
You just got your, there you go. You just got your ass handed to you. 13-0. It creeps into your head a little bit. It's tough. It's really hot. The environment is just different. Is the sun hotter in a minor league ballpark than it is a major league ballpark?
No, but it's hotter in Tampa than it is in Toronto.
This just in. And I'm sure that's because of global warming. Yeah. I don't want to say that we're spoiled. Yeah, tell me you're spoiled without telling me.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But everyone has earned the right to play in a big league ballpark. It's really hot. John Schneider, you should be immediately fired. You should be immediately fired. As a leader of your men, it creeps in. I wonder why it creeps in a little bit. Because maybe your bitch ass is whining in the dugout. Oh, it's really hot today, boys. I don't know if we can pitch or play baseball. I know you only have to stand out there for a few minutes, and then you get to come into the shade in the air-conditioned seats or whatever we have in here and drink as much Gatorade and get as many your major league ball players. Are you effing kidding me? It's not even the summer yet. It doesn't get hot in Atlanta in July. New York City.
Yeah.
You got to go play the Yankees in the middle of August, Schneids. How do you think that's going to be cool? But it's a major league ballpark, so it'll be a little cooler. Actually, you get a nicer breeze since there's not an upper deck. You get a nice circular breeze in there.
So I'm seeing a little background here on John Schneider, our boy John Schneider. He's from Princeton, New Jersey. So he was raised in that type of climate zone, right?
Princeton, it doesn't get very hot.
He played minor league ball in the Cape Cod League.
Ew, wooden bats only.
He attended University of Delaware.
Of course he did.
And then he played for the Blue Jays. Or got drafted by the Blue Jays, I guess.
Indoors, yeah.
So I don't know that he ever made it up to the big league, though. So all of his baseball experience is up north, right? But surely at some point they played teams in the South. Like, I don't care where you're at.
You think?
So why is this a surprise for him? Is he just clearly he's just
to say that like after you just got your ass kicked 13-0?
He's just butthurt is what it is.
Like, I mean, how just absolutely as a leader of a team, like you're the leader of the team. And you want to, in case you wanted to give your boys a little bit of excuse. I mean, seriously, for him to say that in public, like, what do you think's going on in the bench? Are there players coming over? Is Vlad Guerrero coming over? Just Skip, it's a little toasty out here in the minor league ballpark. I don't know if I can play today.
Nobody said we had to play outside.
Coming over to the Skip and going, my dad played 20 years in the major leagues back when it wasn't so warm.
Yeah, before global warming.
Before greenhouse gases made it so inhospitable here on Earth. By the way, the volcano's still going off.
Yeah.
In Hawaii, spewing gases into the house. You made that happen by buying an SUV, Tim. That's what happened. That's why that happened.
You know what? I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame. Idiot. Do it all over again.
I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but can you believe a major league manager said that? What a bitch ass thing to say.
That's insane.
Anyway, moving on. So another great performance all week long. The hitters are hitting, and Jonathan Aranda yesterday with a 3-run homer and another hit off of the left-hander, by the way. Not the home run, but he hit that bomb that he hit. This guy is just, and I got to say this. There were times when we thought, Aranda, I don't know if he can hit in the major leagues, but we didn't say let's get rid of him. Yeah. Because you saw, when a guy's hitting 350 at every level of his step ups, you understand that you got to give this guy some time. Let him adjust to major league pitching. Clearly, he has the hand-eye coordination to be a great hitter. And then you look at the way he tracks pitches. You look at his balance. You look at the way his hips and his eyes and everything. He just looks like such a great hitter. And then you look at Christopher Morel, and you see the exact opposite. Dude is, overruns the base yesterday. I know it's a good win, but you just can't do stupid stuff like that. And he keeps doing it. He's not a good baseball player. He's not a good, and there's a logjam in the outfield. And I don't know, and he doesn't have any options left, him and Jankowski. So I don't know what the Rays are going to do, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. Like, there's going to be a logjam in the outfield. And if for some reason they send Simpson or somebody else and Morel stays on this team, I will absolutely flipping lose my mind. Because that's about, we traded for the guy. We're going to try to get some value out of him, blah, blah, blah. And it has nothing to do with winning. It has nothing to do with winning. And it's going to be and I see this coming, They're to try to keep this guy up here, to try to increase his trade value, whatever. Admit your mistakes and move on. You screwed it up. Maybe Hunter Biggie will be something and save the trade, but this guy is not a ball player. And there was no reason to stunt the growth of Simpson or anybody else to keep or throw this season away by keeping this guy up. It just, the sooner, and I know Curtis Meade has a 6-game hitting streak now or something like that. He's starting to show some life. What, 8 game? Okay.
It's 8, yeah.
I'm still not sold on him. I think we have better players. But anyway, great win. Great streak going on now. It starts with starting pitching. Now, do we have to ask about – so Littell's got 72 pitches in. He's given up 3 hits in the 7th inning. And BA is talking about, he might be able to finish this thing. We might be able to get a complete game, really save the bullpen for the week.
Such a rarity.
Then he brings in Clevenger to face Clevenger, the lefty, who's been outstanding. No question about it. He's been outstanding to face Carlos Correa from the right side. Like 72 pitches in? Like, what in the name of Blake Snell are we doing here? What are we doing? 72 pitches in. He's got a 3-hitter going. And you go to the lefty to face Correa?
So even in a win, we're questioning Kevin Cash and what the hell he's doing over there.
Well, I don't like, and he was asked about it. He said, I don't think about it for 1 minute. definitely, he's been one of the best relievers in the game. Yeah, I get that. But where's the
But if you don't need them, you don't want to use them.
No. It's 72 pitches.
Maybe he had a blister.
Let the guy go. He's not showing any signs of being tired and just like, what are we doing? We got it. I'm a little bored here in the dugout. I need to take a little stroll.
Take a walk.
Give me the lefty, Ba-boom. And now it's 3-2. It was 3-0, scoreless tie through 6. Really good pitchers duel. And then Aranda comes up and gives you a 3-run lead. Boom. What a shot. 3-run lead. Well, all right. Littell's cruising. We're good to go here. Wait a minute. Let's get the lefty in. And now it's a 3-2 game. Now, thankfully, Jansen hits a home run. Cappy had a 2-run double. So they extend the lead and they add on. And so you win the game 7-2. But that had a chance to get really ugly. You got a 5-game winning streak going, playing one of the better teams in the league. You got a 3-0 lead. Your starter's cruising. Let's go get the lefty. 72 pitches in. I don't know. Whatever. But they win the game. That's fine. But another really curious decision. Like a really curious decision. All these lineups and shenanigans that we've been talking about, and this one is like, what are we doing? I don't get it. But he knows more baseball than I do, and maybe more football too.
Are we sure about that?
I don't know. I don't know. And by the way, for all you people that were freaking out, oh my God, there's going to be a Bucs game the same time as a Rays game. Did you see the schedule? The traffic on Dale Mabry is going to, oh my God, what are we going to do? Dogs and cats, it's over.
Mark.
Oh, the Rays moved the games to a later time.
Just like you said they would.
Shocking development. What? Take a brain surgeon to figure that out, does it? Not really. Not really. Like, we're fine, folks. They'll move the games. Baseball can move. They have 81 home games. They can move their baseball. It's not like football where it's harder to move game times. All right. And when the Bucs and the NFL did that schedule, they were fully aware that that's exactly what's going to happen. They're the big dog. The Rays will move their games. Everything will be fine. Don't worry, folks. The world's not going to end. The traffic on Dale Mabry. It'll be fine. It'll be okay.
By the way, props to the chick who caught the home run.
Oh my God.
With her hat while she's looking at her phone.
While she's looking at her phone, stands up, catches the home run, right? She's with her boyfriend, like sitting in the front seat. Those are my seats, by the way, tonight. With my
nice.
boys. Yeah. So we got front row and left field. So hopefully there's plenty of home runs. And
yeah.
We'll
Bring your hat.
Yeah, we'll see if we can catch one with my FanStream Sports hat. Yeah.
How emasculated was that dude?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. And like all the other dudes are coming up, and she turns around and ignores her beau, and is like high-fiving with every dude, and every like, and the dude's just like sitting there like on his phone and whatnot.
They broke up on the way home.
And they come back to a shot. BA with the Brian Anderson with the line of the night. Who was the left fielder last night he just, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
No, for the Twins last night. Forget the guy. He drops one that hits in the glove right at the wall. Then another one hits him in like the wrist. Like he was having a rough go. Like he dropped like 3 balls in left field. They weren't easy plays, but they're right at the wall. He had plenty of time. It's not like he's jumping over the wall.
Was Castro in left field?
Yeah, I think it was Castro. Yeah. Yeah. And then she in the middle of that, she stands up with a hat and catches the ball. And so
everybody up.
BA and the girl and her boyfriend are looking at their phones, obviously, because their phones are blowing up. And BA goes, wow, she's probably getting an offer right now for the Twins to start in left field tomorrow night.
Poor Castro.
Yeah. And also, it's funny. It's the funny thing about the broadcast sometimes are what goes unsaid. The long stretches of silence.
Yeah.
Like after, so when Cash goes and gets Clevenger, and the second pitch goes 600 feet. And now it's a 3-2 game. And he just got done saying, maybe Littell can go the distance here. 72 pitches. And he's talking about how great he's pitching. And then he brings in the lefty, and the commentary is like, it's a little less. And then he hits the home run. And it's just like silence for a minute and a half. Nobody's saying anything. They got the talk back off, and they're going, what the hell was that? What the hell was he thinking?
That's why baseball's the greatest game.
Yeah. But it's like you can just wonder what's going on, like off camera, because they're not going to come on and like openly challenge what a horrible decision that was by Kevin Cash. But it's kind of like what goes unsaid, It's just like kind of silence for the next 2 minutes. I'm like, I'm probably thinking that that wasn't very well received.
And it's always awkward because, like, if you're not actually watching the TV, but you just kind of have it on, then you all of a sudden you notice the silence, but you didn't hear what was leading up to it, and then you're like, "What's wrong? What's happening? What did I miss?"
I gotta run that back.
Yeah,
rewind and see exactly what happened. Well, yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. So yeah, funny stuff in the game, but a great win, and this team is on a roll, and you gotta love the way they're playing now. And and now they've got some guys coming back. They've got Mangum is on his rehab assignment, and he played really well for this team. And then you got DeLuca coming back, so you got a couple of outfielders and Kevin Kelly coming back. We need him in the bullpen. There's a couple of guys could probably easily be sent down. But, now there's going to be some tough decisions that have to be made. And can you sell some of these terrible outfielders for a backup catcher that can hit more than 088? Is that a possibility? Yeah. Like who wants these guys? I don't think anybody. So can we send Morel? I think the Cubs have 3 catchers. Can we send Morel back to them for one of their catchers? Can we do that?
Just anyone, right?
Anyone
matter.
Anyone. I can't stand watching Morfett in the lineup anymore. It's just killing me. Absolutely killing me. So anyway, great role that they're on. So they got the Twins again tonight, and I'll be there, and you guys come join us for our happy hour and Rays pregame show. You know what I'll do? We're going to have, we'll have a couple mics there. So I promise you this, if you guys show up, whoever shows up to the Rays pregame happy hour festivities. Okay. If you show up, I will put you on the mic and we'll talk baseball. All right. We'll put you live on the mic. We'll talk, but Tim's going to play with us tonight, right? You're going to come on the show.
Yep.
So we'll talk baseball. So if you come down there, we'll put you on the mic. And if you got a really good take, I'll buy you a beer.
There you go.
How about that? But we're going to have to decide, there will be a panel. There'll be a panel there. And we'll decide if your takes are good enough for a free beer. So we'll put it up for, because I got some friends coming. Intern Danny's going to be there. He'll be part of the tribunal. So you have to, and if your takes are good enough, we'll decide, we'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you get the thumbs down, you don't get a beer.
You're out.
So, you don't get your head put on a spike. Or sacrificed in the middle of the Coliseum, but you will not get a free beer.
Thumbs down, and you might be playing left field for the Twins.
You might, and you can't be worse than that guy. That was a bad. I went away for after the games, I couldn't see it in the lights. I lost it in the lights at the minor league ballpark, which actually
I was hot. It was too hot.
Yeah. All right, to some of our commenters, to Rick, JP, the ultimate slump buster, keep telling the Rays they suck. You now need to tell Stu what a great owner he is so he'll sell quicker. Stu's not freaking leaving. That's a great idea, Rick. That is 100% great idea because we have a long history on this show. As soon as we start going after a player, they respond with an 8-game hit streak like Curtis Meade has done. Yep. So I think you're right. I think we need to try the negative karma on Stu Sternberg. Have I told you what a great owner he is? Have I told you how badly we want him to stay? I hope that he's here for generations to come. To use his language at the 2 press conferences of stadium deals that he signed and walked away from. For generations to come, Rays fans will be coming to this ballpark Get right up in there. Get right up in there. Mm-hmm. So we love you, Stu, and we really want you to stay. Don't sell. Please don't sell. And he's not going to sell. He's not freaking leaving. He's not freaking leaving, folks.
He ain't effing leaving.
Yeah. Well, we can expect a sale this week now. This works every
There you go.
time. All right. Keep it going. Great idea, Rick. Great idea.
Make sure we give Brandon Lau his props. He's on a 9-game hitting streak.
Yes, he's been really, really good. He's on one of his heaters. Yeah. So let's enjoy it while we can, because it will come to an abrupt halt soon.
Like I told you guys. But
let's ride it while we can. Let's ride it while we can. This guy can carry a team. There's no doubt about it. So as long as Rip Van Winkle's awake, let's ride it.
I tried to tell you guys a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that they're not out of it yet, all right? Because the rest of the division sucks too. You're 6 games in back of New York, and you're in second place in your division right now.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that? Lady Evil says, I think you lifted the curse of the Rays, JP, since you bitched the Storm about the starting lineup last week. They haven't lost. Yes. 13-0 on Saturday was actually a clinic. Works every time, Lady Evil. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Daniel Rivera says, good morning, gentlemen. I knew going in that this series would tell me more about the Rays and whether they are serious contenders or not. Yeah, the pitching has been really good, and they finally figured out how to win at Steinbrenner Field. We knew that was going to, regress to the mean, right? We weren't freaking out about it, but maybe somebody did sacrifice a live chicken. Do we have confirmation on that? Because I did mention that last week.
You did.
I did mention that last week. Some type of, talisman or voodoo hex that we need to bring somebody from Ybor City to throw over some sage or burn some sage over there. I think that was done.
And then I think
there was definitely a wafting of sage as I drove by Dale Mabry the other day.
I think I added that maybe somebody should sacrifice Wade Boggs.
Wade Boggs chicken, yeah. We had the whole plan. Chicken, yeah. You bring out like some Ybor chickens, pluck them right there on the field, snap their necks, feed them to Wade Boggs and everybody else, and then we win. I think that's what happened. I think that's exactly what happened. So Rick said, true identity. You mean the overpaid Blue Jays who can't win despite all that talent? Yes. Yeah, what about that team? Well, I think we know what the problem is. It's too hot. It's too hot for the Blue Jays to play outside like that. We need to get back indoors to Toronto.
How can we expect anybody to do that?
Really starts creeping in. I wonder how that was received in Toronto. I don't read a lot of Toronto news, but
no.
I wonder how that was received.
I'm sure everybody agrees with him.
Yeah.
How can we have baseball outside in Florida in May?
God.
Oh, my God.
In a minor league park.
Oh, my God, eh?
Park. Yeah.
Take off, you hosers.
Right? Oh, my God. Hey, update from our good friend Kenneth McCleary on his daughter. Just want to say thank you to other people that sent thoughts and prayers to my daughter, Brittany. She got through the surgery and is doing much better, but still take more prayers. That is great news, Kenneth. That was awesome. I was really worried about that, as were many of us. So we continue the healing vibe coming your way, my friend. So keep us posted. We're there with you, partner.
Definitely.
Rick says, I guess it was too hot in Toronto when the Rays won 2 of 3. They did open. Didn't they have Skydome open? They did.
Yeah, they had the roof open.
They had the roof. No wonder they couldn't play. No wonder they couldn't play. I mean, who can't really blame them. He says 13 after Rays win is almost called for an emergency live stream. I was watching, but I got my weekends, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not coming on just for you, B. Certainly not for you. Bucs Rays Bolt says Rays for real now or just fluke. All right, listen, it's a 6-game win streak. We're not against the Toronto Blue Jays, who clearly were overmatched by the Heat in the minor league stadium. Just got to them. So let's not, you beat the Twins.
The Rays are over 500 now, too.
They are 27 and 26.
So
let's go.
Give some props.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love the team. We love the team. We root for the Rays. Now we're objective about it. When they're sucking, we're going to say they're sucking. And when they're playing well, we're going to say they're playing well and why they're playing well. And when Cash makes a questionable decision, we're going to question it.
Yeah.
It's part of baseball. He knows that. So
part of sports talk.
That's part of sports talk. I mean, if the manager's getting his ass chapped because there's people are questioning his decisions, you're in the wrong game. Like John Schneider, you're in the wrong game, bro. Go back to Tiddlywinks.
Back to Princeton, New Jersey.
Daniel Rivera mentions, Colleen Wright mentioned last week the city of St. Pete, as the landlord of the Rays until 2028, is contractually required to repair the Trop. You are correct, sir. Let me ask you this. If you were going to truly repair the Trop all the way, and it's the rainy season now, we just got huge deluges of rain in the last couple of weeks. Well, a source close to the Rays who has access to Tropicana Field, we've seen video of water in the dugouts, chest high. The dugouts are filled with water, or at least were last week.
It's got to smell too.
And the smell in there from this person that's been in there of the mildew and stench is overwhelming. So let me ask you a question. And I know they've done a lot. They spent supposedly $6 million to remediate and get everything cordoned off. They have curtains and baggies up to keep, stuff that shouldn't get wet. But if you were if you're truly going to repair it, would you not be pumping the water out? It's not that hard. Portable pumps are pretty easy to get. Would you not be pumping the water out?
I mean, there's companies that do that specifically.
Yes.
You can pay people to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh God, I bet that stinks, man.
And the point is, do you think that the city of St. Pete is in a hurry to get this thing done? No. They're doing it because they're contractually obligated. If you had a business partner that you work with, that you signed a deal with, that literally everybody's political fortunes were attached to, like Mayor Welch, and all the millions and millions of dollars that were spent in attorney's fees and consulting fees, planning fees, engineering fees, not to mention the amount of time that was wasted. You think the city of St. Pete is in a hurry to get this? Because they're not contractually obligated to get it done by a certain time.
Right.
They just have to be, I think the wording is diligent in the repair. Which
seems like a colossal waste of money.
A colossal waste of money. Colossal waste of money. And it's open-ended.
Yeah.
Like, who knows how much it's going to cost for a building that you're literally going to blow up in 3 years.
Well, not to mention we're a week away from hurricane season starting on June 1st, which means you can go hunt hurricanes legally.
Yeah.
But
and Hurricane Pablo or Hurricane Karen, that nasty bitch is on her way.
On her way.
That nasty vindictive bitch is on her way. And she's going to stay a while. Hurricane Karen. So yeah, that's, I mean, what a disaster. What a disaster. And I'll continue to say, for all those who are like, well, who saw that coming? Well, everybody who should have seen it coming. The roof that was 10 years past its contractual life in a hurricane place that was already leaking and had holes all over it that they didn't repair. A building that's been completely outdated for probably 15, 20 years already.
Yeah.
I mean, that should have been reason enough and urgency enough to get a new stadium done anywhere. But of course, the running away from a deal in Tampa, running away from a deal in St. Pete, trying to do a stupid deal in Montreal, all that stuff just delaying so you can continue to cash tons of checks playing in a place with, doesn't matter how many people you get, your revenue sharing dollars and everything else, you're going to make tons of money. And he has been for a long time. No urgency to get the stadium done. None. So when stuff like this happens, when a stadium that's been obsolete for 15 years gets the roof blown off it, I'm not going to be here sitting saying, oh, who saw that coming? Oh, we're victims. No, you're not. You should have got it done. You should have got it done. But you decided instead to just keep cashing checks. So that was a choice, in my opinion. And here we sit playing at Steinberger Field, which I think is pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to tonight's game. Daniel Rivera says any settlement to get out of that agreement had to go toward a new stadium, which the city and the Rays couldn't Agree. Yeah, see, that's the thing we need to know about. What are the settlement talks? What are the settlement talks between the mayor and the city? What at what point? Because seriously, if you're the city, you don't want to repair the Trop. You don't want to write some blank check to some guy who just screwed you. No, they don't want to do that, but they have to. They're contractually obligated. So, and Stu could say, hey, you know what? It's really not a great idea. We can, we'll play at Steinbrenner for 3 years while we get something done someplace else. I don't want you to waste the money on this. And you can blow it up now. We can blow it up now and start redeveloping it and creating all these jobs and a wonderful future for downtown St. Petersburg. But no, they're not going to do that. They're going to remember they said don't do it at first.
Yep.
And then they went, oh, wait a minute. We can get some political advantage here or leverage to make more money somewhere else and make them pay for wherever we got to play. And they reverse course because they didn't think it through at first. And when somebody explained, oh, no, they had to, oh, okay, so we can screw them even more. Oh, yeah, let's do that. That's the choice. Always. It's not what's best for St. Pete. What would be best for St. Pete is to reach a settlement and have them play in Steinbrenner Field or, spend that money in Clearwater and go play over there and get it up to code. They're going to spend money over there anyway. Yep. Which Pinellas County would like, oh, you're going to play here for 3 years? Sure, we'll take them. We got to increase seats to 20 or 15,000, and do all the things that Major League Baseball wants us to do. We got a year to do it. Yeah, let's spend the money there because it's going to stay here and we can use it for another 30 years for the Phillies. That actually makes some fiscal sense. And it also takes it off the back of, and then the city could say, yeah, here's $45 million for the next 3 years that we're which is less than what we're going to have to pay at the Trop to fix that. And we can go ahead and start redeveloping it and making the folks of the gas plant district whole, like the Rays said they wanted to do and didn't do. So we can do all those things. You think the city wants to repair this thing? Hell no. The Rays are making them do it. And nobody's talking about that. The Rays are making them do it and spend the money and order the fabric, all that money that could be going to much better things in the city of St. Pete, but they got to do that. And I'd love to have somebody in the city council to stand up and say something about it. Sure, we could add a settlement, but no, this is what we got to go through this dog and pony show. Ridiculous.
It's so maddening. It's just maddening.
He says June 5th, St. Pete City Council meeting has 3 more votes regarding the Trop. It's for starting to fix the inside, so they are proceeding. Great. What a great use of money. What a fantastic, because you get such a return on investment in that Rays baseball park. I mean, you make so much money as a city. Oh, you don't get any return? They get all the revenue? Oh, that's right. They do. Yeah. Daniel Rivera says the mayor, Ken Welch, told Wright last week that the city and the Rays are trying to avoid litigation. The Rays have never sued the city. Not yet. Not yet.
Just wait for it.
Yep, wait for it. The city should be suing Stu for wasting their time and millions of dollars on that shenanigans.
0 for 4.
Jeff Stutler says, agree, JP. Bringing in Clevenger to pitch to Correa was ridiculous. Littell could have went a little longer. You think? But I think the exact quote was, it wasn't even a decision. Said Andrew Kim. Where is it? Trying to find it here. It said manager Kevin Cash decided that was enough, bringing in lefty Clevenger, who had been on an impressive roll, retiring 48 of his last 55 batters, and is very tough on right-handed batters. He is. All that backfired when Correa jolted Clevenger's second pitch on a 417-foot ride to make it 3-2.
That's funny.
Yeah. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But that just seems like you really forced it there, Kevin. You really forced it there.
Especially that pitch count. It was just unusually odd with that pitch count.
Jeff Ice adds, if Cash was managing the Tigers, Scooball would have pulled Sunday and not pitched the complete game. Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever going to pitch another complete game as long as this ownership group and Kevin Cash are doing it. B says they overestimate timeline to fix Trop so they look better when it's completed early. I don't think that's part of it. Daniel
theory,
JP has a spare bedroom for you in Orlando when you move. No, we don't. No, we don't. 100% do not. All right, let's take a break. I want to get to the rest of the comments and some other talk a little IndyCar when we get back. Erik Erlendsson is going to join us at 11 o'clock to talk the NHL playoffs, the World Championships. Congrats to USA. First time they've won in 92 years. How about that? Isaac Howard played, sort of.
Yep.
So we'll talk about him and maybe his future with the Lightning. We got Bucs talk as well to get to a little bit later on in the show. OTAs back at it today. So we'll hit on some of that stuff. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. They're local, they are trusted, and they get results. If you're in an accident, first call should be to the Jeeves Law Group. And the first hour is presented by OnSiteConstructionFL.com. On-site construction and restoration would be your contractor with anything you need done at your house in terms of add-ons, restoration. You want to build from the ground up, commercial or residential, they can do it all. Go to their website, OnSiteConstructionFL.com, to get all the great 5-star reviews. Back in 3, stay with us. Although it may seem tempting to go without healthcare insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, I got good news.
Uh-oh.
Uncle Joey from Riveters is giving away his tickets tonight. They are right front row above the dugout.
I could have sworn
side.
I could have sworn the next words out of your mouth after you said I got good news is, you are not the father.
Those are some sweet
Those are some good seats.
Oh, are we giving? I don't know. Let's see if we're doing 2 or 4. Yeah. So you got to come to Riveters today.
What's the giveaway? What was there a prize? Is it a prize for something or just a draw?
Yeah, you got to come to Riveters today. First of all, must be present to win.
Mm-hmm.
And these are tickets for tomorrow's day game. So John Schneider is not eligible.
Too hot. It's too hot, JP.
It'll be too hot for him. So if you're a John Schneider, you don't come. Don't get the tickets. Well, you can have the tickets and go find some shady area if you want. So we'll be giving away these tickets right behind the Rays dugout. First row.
That's awesome.
These are great seats. So cool. Yep, there you go. Actually, it's a visiting dugout, but that's
exciting.
Right there. So you got to be present to win at Riveters tonight, and we will give those tickets away, and it'll be the best take. You got to have to come up, speak on the mic. Whoever has the best take gets a free beer because you'll be in the running. You get the free beer, and then you might get the tickets for the next day. How about that? Those tickets are probably
at Rocco Baldelli.
Those tickets are probably like $200 a piece. Or like giving away a lot tonight. So you got to come on down to Riveters from 5 to 6:30. We'll be doing our Rays pregame show, and we'll be giving away these tickets. So get your ass down there. And we're also brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Don't forget to get your Italiano Insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. Hurricane season is here. So if you don't have your flood insurance, you got to wait 30 days to get it in force. So get it done now, and hopefully we won't get hit in the next 30 days. So you should have done it earlier. But don't forget to do it for this season. You do not want to be caught with your flood insurance pants down. 813-877-7799, so to speak.
Yeah, don't tell me
all right, let's before we get back into comments, your thoughts on Alex Palau winning his first oval race and therefore obviously his first Indianapolis 500 for Chip Ganassi Racing, 5 of 6 this year, including the St. Pete Grand Prix that he won fair and square.
Yeah. Didn't have to cheat like
Newgarden.
Like Newgarden Pinsky.
So we talked a little bit about that last week. And I watched a little bit of the pregame festivities, and Fox did a great job, by the way. That was, man, all week long. They rolled out the red carpet. It was.
I could do without Danica Patrick on my TV screen, but I guess, whatever.
Yeah. Ashley didn't like her outfit either.
Oh my God.
I said, are we talking about the guys' outfits, Ash?
I don't even remember what the guys wore.
Yeah, exactly. She was wearing kind of the off the shoulder,
that was
and white
horrible.
Checkered flag thing going on.
That was horrible.
It wasn't horrible.
She's a horrible human being.
No, shut up. Why is she a horrible human being?
I cannot stand that human being.
Wow.
She's bad for TV. She's bad for racing.
I didn't think she was bad.
She was horrible
on the coverage. Tony Stewart was so much better.
Oh my God, Tony Stewart's another idiot. Get him off the freaking screen.
Can I be really nationalistic here?
Okay.
Like the announce crew.
Okay.
This is
you're gonna complain about Will Buxton?
This is a really American, like it drips with Americana, the Indy 500. I mean, absolute drips with the Memorial Day weekend, the salute to service, the patriotism, which I love. And I thought Fox did a great job pointing out all of it. Really great stuff. Military connections, like really good stuff, off the charts.
Yep.
Then we get to the race, and it's Will Buxton here. I've got an English accent that I'm going to be speaking with. I think 2 of the 3 are foreigners. We don't have American
No.
like iconic.
The other two are James Hinchcliffe is Canadian, but I mean,
okay. We love them,
yeah,
despite them not loving us.
Townsend Bell's American,
but I mean, the iconic voices that have called the Indy 500.
Jim McKay.
I mean,
for years on ABC. Jim McKay. Yeah.
And those voices, those iconic voices just mean something.
Paul Page. Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. No, I'm there with you. I like Will Buxton. This is his first season doing IndyCar because Fox just got the broadcast rights and they brought him over from F1. So he's been
from F1.
He's like the pit reporter at F1 and F1
so
for
what?
years.
This is not F1. Every IndyCar fan hates F1. Do they not?
I love F1. No, I don't think that's true. But
who was dogging it? Somebody was dogging F1 so bad. Who was it? It was Pat. I think it was Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee and everybody. They're dogging F1. Well, I mean, it's like yeah, they had one pass.
Well, but the guy Lee Diffie, the guy that did freaking IndyCar for the last 7-8 years, is Australian, and that was just as weird.
Yeah,
I don't know why the producers think we need to hear some sort of foreign accent
for IndyCar racing
to legitimize IndyCar. I don't get it, man.
I don't get that. Anyway,
and I don't.
Let's talk about the race.
Will Buxton. I like Will Buxton, but he's clearly new to the series, and he's still learning. This was his first time ever at an Indy 500, and he was clearly blown away by it.
Yeah, and I thought the broadcast was choppy. They were talking over each other. Yeah. They were, it just didn't
any chemistry yet.
But yeah, none. They were talking over each other, like pointing out things. There was no flow to it at all. But anyway, so
you were talking about America, though. That that's such an American thing. I want you to tell me if there's anything in your mind more American than this. And of course,
that was awesome.
Not going to play.
Dad, what's going on? I don't know. We've been having this issue lately with streaming. So are you going to show the special ops helicopters leading them down?
Yeah, I got it right here. Hang on.
That was freaking awesome. That was absolutely awesome.
The two of them though was just it was freaking incredible.
And then they showed that POV from the turn one, I think it was. The Black Hawk helicopter coming down east, right on top of the fans.
Yeah,
right on top of the fans.
I was thinking they should have just raced the helicopters.
Yeah, right. That was so cool. I thought the production value was tremendous, but I wasn't.
I mean, as a race, dude. Here we go. I think I got it right.
Guys, this is the pace lap for America to honor Memorial Day and the U.S. Army's 250th birthday. To all the men and women of the U.S. Army and the 160th Special Operations Group, happy birthday from all of us. This is something special.
I can't even imagine. That's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
That was cool.
You know who was driving the pace car, don't you?
Strahan.
Michael Strahan. Yeah, and then Tom Brady was in the two-seater on the parade laps, and he was just going nuts. You know what? It would not surprise me to see Tom Brady involved in IndyCar in the next few years and in an ownership role or something.
Oh, I bet after being in that situation.
Walter Payton was a team owner from '88, and he was a year after he retired until he died. He was part owner of Peyton Coyne Racing, which is now just Del Coyne Racing. But
the Dave Letterman Michael Strahan interview was about as awkward as anything I've seen.
I love David
in quite some time.
I hate
so awkward. So they spent so much time on Strahan.
Yeah.
What was
the point of that?
On racing? We got to give Michael Strahan more airtime? Really?
If he ever needs more airtime. He's got plenty.
He was a race car driver going up, didn't we all?
Yeah, so. And then they had to do the awkward AI images of him racing cars and stuff, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, They spent a lot of time on that.
Fox is just, you know what? Fox is trying to promote their other brands, and I get it.
Of course.
Tom Brady, which is cool. Tom Brady.
Isn't he on Good Morning America, though?
Yes.
He's not even really a Fox guy. He's like on Good Morning America every morning
on ABC. NFL on Fox, though. I mean,
I know, but his main gig is on ABC.
I know. I hate it. I don't understand it.
Weird. All right, so we had the race itself, though. So one of my I'm waiting for Mark. First of all, Marcus Ericsson, and it came down to him and Palau, right? And they kept talking about the fuel mileage. Did that really even come into it?
No, it ended up not being a factor because
it rarely does.
You heard near at the end before Palau made the pass, his team radioing him and say, "Just go. You're good on fuel. You're good
on fuel." So we spent an hour talking about that, and it was a non-issue. Which I know you got to talk about it, but it's just seemed
that is always the talking point going at the end. And these guys were stretching it a little bit. Going 37, 38 laps on a tank of fuel in Indy. That's a stretch, and you get guys all the time that cut it too close and run out of fuel on the last lap and lose the Indy 500. It's happened.
It certainly lacked the drama of the last 2 years, which were the greatest finishes maybe in IndyCar history.
With last lap passes, yeah,
that's unbelievable. And unfortunately, and Newgarden was coming. He came all the way from the back of the field, all the way up to seventh, with about 50 laps to go, and then
a fuel pickup issue, and I was cheering louder at that point than I ever was before.
Yeah, I mean the racing gods intervened and said, "Nope,
you're not. We're going to."
Yeah, and I think they kind of downplayed the whole Penske.
Yeah, they didn't spend a lot of time talking about it, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, we talked about it.
However, there is more controversy post checkered flag. JP,
I did not know this.
On yesterday, Marcus Ericsson, your second place finisher, was one of 3 top 12 finishers whose cars failed post-race inspection.
Again?
Resulting in a drop to the back of the field.
He wouldn't have won anyway. Back and won, what did he do?
Something about their, what they call it, used to be called push to pass. Now it's the hybrid system.
Right.
Something about tampering with that, somehow giving the car just like it was with Penske, giving it an aerodynamic advantage. That's one of the things you're not allowed to modify, just like the attenuator on the back Penske got busted for. And there were several cars, and Ericsson and the Andretti Global teammate, Kyle Kirkwood, same thing. Had he won the race,
he would have been DQ'd.
He would not have won that.
Wow, IndyCar's got a problem. They got a problem with this stuff. They really do. All right, we're going to talk more. We'll talk a little bit more. I want to get a little bit more into. We've got Erik coming up, so I want to talk about that. But the Palau pass with 14 to go. We'll just hit that real quick. That came way early, and Jamie Little never asked him about his strategy of passing with 14 laps to go. Like all the questions, she had 17 interviews with him after the race, and never asked him what was your strategy in terms of when you passed and why you passed and how you pulled it off. Like, isn't that instrumental to? Isn't that a pretty key question?
I think that would be the first question, yeah. But I think because it happened so early that it kind of was out of sight, out of mind. Had it happened with 3 laps to go, that was the first question she would have asked. But
you explained it to me, so explain it to the folks.
So, normally when you've got 2 cars running up front, just like you saw the last 2 years when Newgarden passed Pato O'Ward, you don't have lap traffic in front of you. So it's an entirely different strategy. It's an entirely different race. But when you had those 2 cars in front of them, it really didn't matter because the car that's in front, when you have no one in front of you, number one, it burns more fuel. And both of those guys were already cutting it close on fuel. So normally you want to sit behind and you want to wait till as late as possible. 2 laps to go, 1 lap to go, you're cutting it close so that so the strategy works, right? But when you had those 2 cars in front of them, that was all out the window. And you're able now to pass, get in their slipstream, and you're not burning any more fuel than you were when you were behind the leader, So it was an entirely different strategy. It worked wonderful. And that's why it was different, though, because of those 2 lap cars that were in front of you.
And those lap cars were fast enough where he didn't have to pass them.
Yeah.
Because they were still running flat out.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to. And
because of his fuel mileage.
And Ericsson just didn't have the handling in his car to get past him. Had he tried to go deeper into the corners, he would have been in the wall.
Yep. Basically. Because you're into not just the end of your fuel life, you're into the end of the tire life as well. Your handling's out. And when you're behind a car like that, especially the closer you get, it takes the air off the front wing, the handling goes away, and like you said, it's real easy to just right into the wall. So he really had no choice, and in retrospect now it wouldn't have mattered because he failed inspection. But from a strategy standpoint, that's what we were looking at.
All right. Well, it's good. I thought it was a good race. It wasn't as dramatic at the end, obviously, but as the last couple of years, but still, I thought it was fun to watch. And it feels like IndyCar's back. Like I think there's a lot more interest in it than there has been for a long time, which is good.
I've watched the entire race 4 times, start to finish.
You were a glutton for punishment. It wasn't that good. Jesus.
It is, man. You know what? You know what else I watched on Saturday leading up to that race? I watched the 1992 Indy 500 start to finish.
You are sick, man. Who won that one?
It's Erlendsson Jr.
Erlendsson Jr. 92. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And the Andretti curse continues, by the way.
Oh, my Marco didn't even start the race, hardly.
Oh, yeah. It started badly for who's the dude that Scott McLaughlin crashed on in practice?
The parade lap. Yeah.
That's not a good look, is it?
No, it's second. Well, in 83, you had it happen with the pole sitter. Roberto Guerrero did that on the parade lap. But it's the same situation. Cold tires, cold track, cold. And he just, I mean, you heard on the in-car camera, when they were replaying the video, he was trying to warm his tires up, going back and forth, and he downshifted at the same time that he was turning, and it spun the wheels and it put him into the wall. So that's a rookie mistake, man.
That's a rookie mistake. Yeah. Ouch, man. Yeah, you don't want to go back to the garage at that point, do you?
Yeah, you could tell he didn't want to do anything at that point.
You want to get away?
You want to get away?
Yeah. All right, let's talk some hockey with our good friend Erik Erlendsson from lightninginsider.com. What's up, Double E's? How are you, my friend?
Good morning, boys. How are you?
And the Lightning Radio Network is, of course, one of my colleagues there. We are well. We're talking a little Indy 500. Did you catch the Indy 500? Did you watch a little bit of that?
I did not.
You were watching World Championship hockey, weren't you?
Yeah.
I was.
There you go. Yeah. That's allowable.
That's allowable. Yeah. And the U.S. wins the Worlds for the first time in 92 years. Yeah. I didn't know it'd been that long. That's a long time.
I mean, the World Championships is different. It's not best on best. Obviously, with the NHL playoffs still going on, the better players for most of those countries are over here. I mean, look at Switzerland. They were really good throughout the entire tournament, and I think they had maybe half of their NHL contingent playing in that tournament. Obviously, the U.S. had a lot of NHL players, and most of them were young though, and the U.S. was the youngest team in that tournament. But maybe it was a little Johnny Gaudreau magic that kind of took place, because what a moment it was to watch Zach Werenski, who balked at the idea of going to the World Championships at first and then ultimately decided to go after the U.S. won that game in overtime on a Tage Thompson winner. He's the guy who ran into the U.S. locker room, grabbed Johnny Gaudreau's jersey, which has been a big part, obviously, we know from the Four Nations Cup.
Right.
A big part of Team USA, and he brings the jersey out onto the ice, and they all make sure that they take a picture with Johnny Gaudreau's jersey sort of wrapped around the trophy. I mean, it was such a moving moment, and the U.S. has been striving for this, and again, it's not best on best, but it is an international competition, and there are rankings and everything else that are on the line in these tournaments, and the U.S. had sent some good teams over. Johnny Gaudreau is the all-time leading scorer for Team USA at the World Championships. So for them to finally get past the semifinals, they'd been to the semifinals a number of times in the World Championships, just could not get to the gold medal game. And then they knock off Sweden in Stockholm in the semifinals and dominated the Swedes for the most part in that game in the semifinals. It was a big moment for USA Hockey. So for them to get the championship of that tournament, it kind of puts a stamp on how USA Hockey has tried to put themselves on this stage and to win tournaments, right? Like they haven't won gold at the Olympics. So in 1980, I think, was the last time they won a gold medal at the Olympics. So under best on best NHL type situations, they're trying to be more assertive, and this takes a big step forward for a very young, talented group that USA had.
And it continues a nice run that USA Hockey has had, right, in the juniors as well. So I mean, we've seen that. In the Four Nations as well, USA is pretty damn close to Canada. I mean, they had every chance, Austin Matthews, to win the Four Nations, right, and beat Canada. Had they done that, would we now be saying, wait a minute, maybe we without tariffs, we're better than Canada? Sorry.
If you look at the success the U.S. has had at the under-18s and the World Juniors, which is an under-20 tournament in recent years, I mean, they're back-to-back champions for the first time at the World Junior level, which is a big tournament. That's a huge tournament that takes place just after Christmas and right around New Year's. And they've won that tournament back-to-back now, and it's going to be in the U.S. this year. It's going to be, I think, in Minnesota. Is going to be the host of the World Juniors coming up December 26th. It always starts when that tournament starts. And they've won gold medals in the past. I mean, you go back to John Carlson. John Carlson scored a golden goal for Team USA to beat Canada. I forget when it was, but it was, early 2010s that kind of put the U.S. on that stage and to compete in that tournament. And they've been really good ever since then. Now, we will say there's no Russia. So you take out one of the top hockey nations, in the world out of these tournaments, that kind of opens up a door a little bit. But you can only play those who are in the tournament
That's
with
right.
you. And the U.S. is, their development program, I mean, for them to implement this national development program and keep some of these players together, which is what a lot of these European teams do. I mean, you look at all these players that are on Switzerland and how much they've played together growing up, in different tournaments and everything
matters.
else. Yeah, that chemistry matters. And so the U.S. has done that, and it's developed top-notch players that have gone on to have great careers in the NHL. And you're just, now you're seeing the first-round picks come out of this national development program. Zeev Boyum, the defenseman who Minnesota picked, he won gold at the under-18s. He won back-to-back golds at the World Juniors. He was on this World Championship team. He's 20 years old. I mean, so the development program has really done a tremendous job of promoting the game, teaching the game, growing the game, and developing high-level elite-style talent.
So the next best on best is the Olympics?
Yep.
Next year?
Yep, that'll be it's gonna be a lot of fun. And you look like Tage Thompson was one of the guys debated big time when he was not added to the Four Nations Cup.
Right.
And so he goes to the World Championship,
scores the game with the
one of the top
trophy
goal
winner.
Scorers there, ends up as the golden goal hero with it. So he has really firmly implanted his name onto that roster. I mean, this is what it's, because anytime a Canadian roster used to come out, it was always about who didn't make it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You are now to that point with the USA roster of players. Jason Robertson did not make the Four Nations Cup.
How about
He
that?
was not on that Four Nations team. He's one of the top offensive players in the league, and he didn't make the team.
Somebody needs to remind him of that right now.
Yeah, they could use some scoring from him for sure.
Yeah.
But it just kind of shows you the talent pool that USA Hockey now has, that we can talk about. Well, who didn't make it?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Who got snubbed in some ways, because now it is a very difficult 23, 25-man roster for anybody to find their name on.
Yeah, it's a great point. And one of those players we need to talk about, Isaac Howard, didn't get a whole lot of run. What are your thoughts on how he played and his situation now? Does this change anything with the Lightning?
Well, I don't think it changes anything. The one thing that maybe you were hoping to see was him get a little bit more playing time, because even when he dressed, he was the 13th forward, because in international hockey, you can dress 13 forwards and 7 defensemen for each game, so you can dress 22 guys as opposed to the NHL. That maybe he could go there and showcase himself and, raise his profile, make himself a more sought-after commodity.
We were hoping.
It didn't happen, but so it didn't change anything in terms of where things are with him and the organization and how, he might be moved presumably sometime around the draft and sometime around the start of free agency. I would have to anticipate that would probably end up being the case. But it was, it's a good experience for him no matter what. We know he's a talented player. He was a part of that team, not this year, but the previous year that won gold with the USA at the World Junior level. He's part of that national development program, came up through the ranks. You look at Frank Nazar, who had a great tournament for the U.S., plays for Chicago. he was on that same development program team that Isaac Howard was on, and Isaac Howard actually was the leading scorer on that team. So
was Howard he won the Hobie Baker, didn't he?
Yeah,
he won the
I recall.
Baker.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So it didn't hurt him that he wasn't playing much. You were hoping it would help his profile, but it didn't hurt his profile by going over there and being part of it and getting the experience. And I think with him going there, I think it just kind of helps lean more towards the fact that he doesn't really want to go back to school.
No.
I think he's ready to start his pro career. It just doesn't look like it's going to happen here, and he has the leverage. He can try and use it, and now the Lightning can try and turn that into maybe another prospect. Again, not trying to compare this, but similar to the Cutter Gauthier, who again was on that Team USA World Championship team, and the Jamie Drysdale situation between Anaheim and Philadelphia when Gauthier was not going to sign with the Flyers, so they end up flipping him for a young defenseman in Jamie Drysdale.
But the Lightning could trade him. Like it's their decision. Yeah. So it's not like it's he can force himself into free agency.
Well, he could if he chooses not to sign with anybody. Mm-hmm. Right? But he has to wait until next August. He has to wait till August of 2026.
Oh, okay. That's right.
They own his rights, yeah.
They own his right. Oh, right.
Yeah. So, again, and I don't know this, but it just makes logical sense. If the Lightning go to Howard's camp and say, hey, find a team that's willing to sign you, and we'll work out a deal.
And that hasn't happened yet.
No, it hasn't. And look, it's still the middle of the playoffs and everything, and there's still time for all of this to develop. And maybe it has, but we don't know about it.
Right.
It's very possible that that's.
They just don't want to announce it yet. Right.
Yeah. So, if that's the case, then I would anticipate, because no team is going to trade for him if they can't sign him, and it can't sign him now. Right. I don't think any team that's going to want to give up prospects for him is going to want to wait until if he goes back to school and isn't ready to sign until April of next year. I'm not sure how much of a team wants to give that up, knowing he'd be a free agent in 3 months anyway.
Right.
So, but I anticipate that this will not be a long game with Isaac Howard. I think this will be something that gets taken care of this summer. But Julie and his staff keep things very, very close to the vest.
They do indeed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, my guess is he gets traded. And what do you think the return is to a team that he will sign with, obviously? How good can it be?
I mean, look, you could just compare Gauthier and Drysdale. I mean, that's the comparison. And Howard is that high ranked of a prospect. You look at the success that he had, obviously in college, the success that he's had on the international stage with the World Juniors, a year ago in January 2024, and the two goals in the gold medal winning game for them. So I would have to think that the comparable is another good young prospect that another team might be willing to give up, or maybe it's a first-round draft pick in the draft, something like that, something that the Lightning have only had one of. Really going back to 2017, they've only had one first-round draft pick, and it is Isaac Howard. So, there's a lot of possibilities that are there, but I would think if you're the Lightning, you're looking for a somewhat comparable, younger type of prospect player that you're going to have some contract control over.
Right. That's going to be very, very interesting. All right, let's talk about the playoffs and what we've seen. And we obviously look at things through the lens of the Lightning. And I believe you and I both said after the Lightning were dispatched by the Panthers are going to win the Stanley Cup. At least I remember that's what I said. I said they're really freaking good. And let's see how good Toronto's top line does against this Panthers team. They didn't do squat, and neither is Carolina. I mean, they have been, and I hate to say it, freaking unbelievably dominant. A lot of similar shenanigans, I might add, as Stolarz never came back. Yeah. I mean, so as much as we hate to tip our cap, and maybe we won't, but we have to acknowledge that they're really, really freaking good, and they're probably going to win the Stanley Cup. What are your thoughts at this point?
Well, remember, Toronto had them down.
I know.
They had them on the ropes.
Almost 3-0. They score in overtime. It's 3-0.
Well, they're up 3-1 in Game 4.
Yeah.
Or in Game 3. They're up
3-1
right in the second period and couldn't hang on to that lead. And then they had to rally to tie it to get it to overtime. So, it's hockey's that way, man. Like, it can turn so quickly. And I think once Florida won Game 3 of that series and made it 2-1, they kind of took over, right? They showed the Leafs this is hard. It's hard to win in the playoffs, and obviously the Panthers have learned how to do it. The Leafs have never learned how to do it. They've only won 2 series under this core 4 that they have. And but the Panthers, we know they're a good team. And, we saw them at the end of the year, but they didn't have – Marchand wasn't healthy yet. He wasn't playing. Seth Jones was in. Ekblad was out because of the suspension. Mm-hmm. They're a really good team. That's bad for hockey. I agree. Bad for hockey.
I agree.
100%. Because if they've had to kind of get on the shenanigans. I believe they've now had 3 or 4 players ejected from games for game misconducts, plus a player suspended for 2 games. They don't need to do that.
No, they don't.
And that doesn't even count the Bennett on Stolar situation, or the Mikkola elbow to Zemgus Girgensons in Game 4 again, or Game 3 against the Lightning. Like that was probably a suspendable hit that they chose not to suspend because they already had to suspend Aaron Ekblad for his headhunting. And Aaron Ekblad has been – you're seeing a new light of Aaron Ekblad. How many dirty elbows, late elbows, has that guy been throwing around in the playoffs?
And late hits in general. Yeah. Like you watch the Panthers play, and it's a count and a half. A guy gets rid of the puck. Yeah. That blindside shot the other day. Who was that? That was
Mikkola
on
Seth Jarvis.
Yeah, on Seth Jarvis. I mean, the puck is gone, and it's a blindside shot, and it hits him in the head. Like, does it get any dirtier than that?
That's what's bad for hockey is that they're allowing that to go on. Yeah.
That's why I say the Panthers are a really good hockey team that's bad for hockey right now. Because, can you imagine being a new fan to the game and you're kind of getting interested in it? And, you hear us in the media and everybody else talk about how it's a second season, it's completely different. And then you're seeing this. You're seeing this a lot. I mean, the Ekblad elbow to Blake, Jason Blake's on it, Jackson Blake, after he scored a goal. The goal was already scored.
Yep.
And Ekblad still comes in, just like he did against Hagel. He pulls it back and rears it forward. And there's not a penalty on the play. Like, there's nothing. Like, and that's bad for hockey.
And they've been doing this after the whistle. You go back and watch the Lightning games. If you recorded them and you want to go watch them wherever, go back and watch everything after the whistle. It's ridiculous how much stuff that happens after the whistle with the Panthers. It's non-freaking stop, and it's just bad for hockey.
And watching Matthew Tkachuk hunt down Sebastian Aho, that's not good. It's not good.
At some point, is Paul Maurice culpable here?
Yeah, of course. And the head coach is responsible for the actions of his team.
Absolutely.
Just like, because in the series against the Lightning, everybody was like, "Oh, the Lightning they got to do the same thing against the Panthers." And while at heart I don't disagree with that, that's not the way they play. Right. So John Cooper sent the message: you can't retaliate because in Game 3, actually, ironically, the game that the Lightning won in that series, they were the ones getting caught up in the retaliations. I mean, Anthony Cirelli got 2 retaliatory penalties.
That's right.
In that game because of, we'll call them antics of the Panthers. And they don't have to do it. I know, especially all the conversations I've had with Brian Engblom through the years, intimidation is still a factor in the game. And the Panthers are trying to intimidate. And there are ways to do it that don't cross the line. And I think the Panthers in this playoffs in particular have crossed the line too many times. But having said that, if there are no consequences for your actions,
you keep doing it.
It's not going to curb them. They're going to keep doing it until you tell them to stop. Players in any sport will always test the boundaries of what they're able to get away with. And if you keep telling them it's okay, I mean, even last night, Gadjevich at the end of the game, right? He kind of threw an elbow and – the funny thing is I've had some fun going back and forth with some Panthers fans who show up in my social media feeds when I've
seen,
portray some of these things that go on. They're the first ones to go off on Sebastian Aho about his hit on Sam Reinhart, right? Which
is ridiculous.
I mean, it was a hip check. It wasn't a target to the head. and Reinhart had the puck, right? Like there's a lot of things that go on, but they're the first ones to cry about a dirty hit.
Yeah.
But then they watch their teams like, oh no, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh, the irony.
In some of the back and forth on what we've had on my feeds, but even Rod Brindamore said it after game one. We cannot get caught up in what the Panthers are trying to do because they're trying. It's not only it's an intimidation factor, it's to get you off your game. It's
right.
to get inside your head,
mm-hmm.
and we saw it in game 3 for the Lightning. It kind of got into their head, and I remember asking all those questions in the day between game 3 and game 4. How do you make sure that you don't get caught up in what the Panthers are trying to accomplish?
But Eric, that strategy only works if the officials are going to call it.
Sure.
And if the officials aren't going to call it, that strategy doesn't work. So at what point, and here you got Brindamore who played for Maurice, right? Does he not want to come out and say, hey, NHL, make a bit, how many times have we seen hockey coaches in the days off go on tirades about the officiating to try to turn the series? Yeah. It's an age-old tradition, actually. Shut your yap, right?
Yeah.
Like it's age-old.
Shift the focus, yeah.
Shift the focus, but also make the league say, look, so and I think it makes the other team go, all right, they're really watching now. And I mean, I hate to be the whiner, and I hate to be, and I get that don't get caught up in it. But if they're, to your point, if they're just not going to call anything, then that strategy doesn't work. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're absolutely dead on because, like I said, if the actions aren't going to be, if there's no consequences for the actions aren't going to change.
Of course, scoring on the power play would help as well.
And no team has been able to do that.
Right.
Like even on 5-minute majors that teams have had. I mean, you look what the Lightning were not able to do, in that series against Florida. They had one power play goal that came on the first power play chance in game 1. Look, again, the Panthers are, and maybe that's part of it. They know that teams are going to have a hard time scoring against them. I mean, the Leafs power play, which is potent, struggled big time in that series, right? So, and they're probably willing to do it, knowing that they're not going to get called for it. And then some of these game misconducts, they're happening in garbage time of games. So what penalty is there?
Right, there's none.
I mean, Matthew Tkachuk got kicked out of the final 5 minutes of game 3 when they were already down 4-1. So where's the penalty for it? Okay, great. He's got 5 and a 10 next to him.
And don't think that's not calculated. Of course it is.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly what that hit on Gensel was a calculated.
Well, you got to suspend him. You got to suspend him.
Absolutely.
You can't. It's meaningless at that point. You got to suspend him for a couple games, which the NHL doesn't have the balls to do. And I hate to keep mentioning Colin Campbell, but it's a bad look. I'm not casting aspersions on anybody, but it's a bad. Can I just say it's a bad look?
The optics are not good.
The optics are not good.
The optics are not good. And
when your son's the assistant GM, in case you don't know, for the Panthers,
they're the one team getting away with this because let's face it, everybody went up in arms over the Hagel hit on Barkov,
which should not have been. If his stick doesn't get lifted, it's a legal hit.
Yeah, and that's why I was a little surprised it was a suspension. And again, I mean, under the rules, it is Hagel's responsibility to know whether or not Barkov is eligible to be hit. But
in a split second while you're already in the air, good luck.
But what was that in retaliation for?
Yeah.
What entered, and we don't know this, but we can only imagine what entered Hagel's head when that opportunity to deliver that hit. Just earlier in that game, he got boarded from behind big time into the boards. Now, the Panthers did get called for a penalty on that one, but that was a dirty hit from behind.
Yep.
So, and it ends up being just like the retaliatory penalties that Cirelli took in Game 3. It ends up costing Tampa Bay because Hagel missed Game 3, and then they went headhunting and knocked him out of Game 4. But it's in retaliation for something that the Panthers did earlier. So again, everybody wants to look at what an Aho does or what a Hagel does, but nobody wants to point the fingers at some of the stuff that, Nico Mikkola and Sam Bennett and, guys who haven't really been punished. I mean, Mikkola got a $5,000 fine for the hit on Gergensen.
Unbelievable. Most egregious hit. Timmy, you want to get in here?
Oh, I'm just over here commiserating about my Stars. That's all.
What do you think about the West, Eric?
It's amazing here again, right? We just talked about how the Leafs had the Panthers on the ropes. The Kings should have swept the Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
Should have swept them.
Yeah.
You know, they were up big in Game 3 in Edmonton. And then for whatever reason on a goal that Edmonton tied the game in Game 3, Jim Hiller decides to challenge it for goalie interference, which he was never going to win. And you put one of the greatest power plays in the history of the NHL back on the ice, and they score to win the game. I mean, the Kings had the Oilers on the ropes. They should have been done. They should not have won a playoff game, and here they are up 2-1. And again, you talk about teams learning how to win. I mean, how aggravated has Connor McDavid been anytime anybody asks him about how well the Oilers defend now?
Yeah.
Well, Connor, there's a reason why people are asking this question, because you didn't know how to defend as a team.
Yeah.
You know, and now you've got, Draisaitl's name is coming up in Selke conversations.
Right.
So they
Imagine
have
that.
learned to maybe curb a little bit of their gaudy offensive numbers for defending. Now, they didn't defend very well against the Kings, but the playoffs has gone along, I mean, they were great against Vegas. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
And against Vegas, I thought Vegas would have won that series.
Mm-hmm.
Now Mark Stone getting hurt, and Aiden Hill wasn't very good in net for the Golden Knights. But again, I would have thought Dallas. I think Dallas is arguably right there on par with the Panthers in terms of the type of team and the type of game that they can play. They need more out of their top guys, right? Tim, you mentioned Jason Robertson, who's coming back from injury, and we don't know exactly for sure what that injury was and how that's affecting his game. They've had to ride their defense pretty heavy, and Heiskanen coming back. Look, it is tough to miss the amount of time that Miro Heiskanen missed with the injury that he had and jump right back into late playoffs, like late round playoffs, and playing basically every other day. I mean, that's tough. That is a grind for anybody who's in peak condition, let alone trying to work your way back, because you can never replicate game speed and game conditioning in practice. You can't do it. And, he's expecting him to go out there and play 30 minutes a night like he normally does. Mm-hmm. It's a tall task, and he's certainly young enough to be able to do it, but you see the effects that it's having on him. Mm-hmm. So and then having to chase McDavid and Draisaitl around, because that's the matchup that certainly Pete DeBoer wants. And having said that, they could win Game 4 tonight, and it's a 2-2 series going back to Dallas, and then it becomes best of 3 with 2 to 3 games in Dallas. So, but I like the Stars. I still like the Stars. Jake Ottinger has a very good reputation of bouncing back from these type of games. But the story for Edmonton is Stuart Skinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what an incredible comeback.
I completely overlooked him.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this.
Everybody
Many of us did. Yeah.
Especially after he lost the net in the
It's going to be liability. Yeah.
The only reason he's in is because Pickard got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And now he's got, 3 shutouts in his last 4 games, and he was brilliant in the first period on Sunday. I mean, I know the score was lopsided in that one, but Dallas had a lot of the better chances. If anybody sees, Money Puck, anybody goes to moneypuck.com, they have their deserve to win-o-meter.
Yeah.
That they have based on scoring chances. Dallas at one point in that game was 75%.
Yeah.
Deserved to win. They were down by 3 goals. Stuart Skinner.
These playoffs have been a contradiction and crazy times, but that's what's great about them. So it's absolutely great about them. So, all right, Double E's, great stuff as always. Tell everybody how they can get Lightning Insider. It's a must-have if you're a hockey fan.
Yep, lightninginsider.com is the website. You got 2 opportunities. There's a monthly plan. There's a yearly plan. Obviously not a ton going on right now. We didn't even touch on Matthew Darsh being hired by the Islanders as the new GM. Good luck, Matthew.
Blashill.
Great guy. Number 1 overall pick. Matthew Darsh has gets the number 1 overall pick with the Islanders. And, Jeff Blashill leaving to take on the head coaching job in Chicago, and good for Jeff. I always thought he deserved to get a second chance behind the bench somewhere, and he's got a really good young talented team there with Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar we talked about. They get a really good up-and-coming sort of team that he can kind of help mold and get his second chance with a talented roster, as opposed to a Detroit team that was on a downswing when he took over. And
exactly.
Stuck that out for that long. So, there's a little, that stuff is going on. We're getting closer to the draft and free agency and everything else. And so it's a little bit of a downtime right now. But I do plan on writing, assuming that the Panthers get to the Stanley Cup final, why a good Florida Panthers team is bad for hockey.
I love it.
Yeah.
We got the preview today. Great stuff. I didn't want to keep you too long, but we can get into all that next week if you'll come back on. It'll be great.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks.
Right,
Erik
guys,
Erlendsson, Double E's, as we love to call him, lightninginsider.com. It is an absolute must for Lightning fans and hockey fans, quite frankly. And it costs next to nothing. I got to renew.
Hey, I'm a Stars fan, and I'm a subscriber.
Absolutely. Right.
His takes are second to none, man, across the whole league.
Experience matters, folks. He's been doing it a long time. Absolutely. All right, we'll take a break. I'm going to get back to comments. We got a whole bunch I got to get to SEC meetings. We got some Bucs stuff to get to. They're back at OTAs this morning, and a little bit more Rays as well. And your funny, incredibly insightful comments, some of you, we'll have for you when we come back. We're brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com also does AC. So get your unit tuned up for the summertime. Do not make that call or get that call from your wife. The unit is down. Your unit is down. You don't want to do that. Make sure that it is in tip-top condition. You can do that with ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. Just go to their website. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. We've told you about the amazing Diamond Savings Account where your diamond never loses its value. Well, now, through the end of May, the Gold and Diamond Source will double your trade-in value up to $2,500. Just bring in your jewelry to trade, and your $2,500 piece turns into $5,000. It's time to upgrade that ring, earrings, whatever. We have gemologists on site to make the deal. Double your trade value up to $2,500. Gets you $5,000 to spend. So go through your jewelry box and get that stuff you never wear and get something new and stylish that you're going to love. Great experience, and we will double your trade-in now till the end of May. We can finance you as well. No interest for 5 years. Only at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at goldanddiamond.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, Tampa Bay, it's time to get your AC unit ready for summer. And here at Third Generation Plumbing and Mechanical, we recommend getting ahead of the game, keeping your family cool before the hot summer months with one of our maintenance agreements in the hopes of avoiding the dreaded emergency service call. Our maintenance agreements include, we'll test the electrical components, check and tighten high and low voltage wire connections, we'll check the refrigerant, for manufacturer's performance levels. Test thermostats, calibrate if needed, clean the evaporator coil and condenser coil, and clear and treat the drain line and drain pans. Just call us at 813-961-8024 for the special rates, and a human will actually answer. 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Onsite Construction and Restoration. Their great website is onsiteconstructionfl.com. You see it right there. So if you're thinking about doing some restoration, or you had some contractor work done for the hurricane and maybe it didn't turn out like you like and you need somebody to fix it, they can do that as well. Great folks over there. Jason Fawcett is the proprietor. We've had him on the show a few times, so you get to know him. Does fantastic work, him and his great construction crew there. Over 20 years in business here locally, tons of 5-star reviews. Finding a contractor that is honest is not easy. And so these are great folks, and they get the work done on time and on budget. OnsiteConstructionFL.com. Tell them JP saying it. All right, little Bucs news from our good friend Greg Auman, who was out there. Baker Mayfield in attendance for today's first day of voluntary OTAs. Desmond Watson and Shiloh Sanders are also there. I would hope all the rookies are there. Yaya Diaby and Kalijah Cansey are there. Once again, voluntary, so don't have to be there. Wirfs and Luke Gedeke are not here, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, what's the point?
They don't need to be there. Antoine Winfield doesn't need to be there either, but he's there, coming back from an injury-riddled season. Punt returns, Trey Palmer, Tez Johnson, Jalen McMillan, Cam Johnson, and Emeka Ibuka working those out. Well, Tez already told you guys that it's his job, so I don't know what the rest of those guys are doing.
Yeah, what are they doing?
I mean, just back off. 75 in attendance, 75 plus. So, Hassan Reddick, we've not seen. Don't count me on that. At least it has not been.
Yeah, I haven't said anything
on Greg's. I would like to see him there.
Yeah, I would too. For obvious reasons. Yeah, I think he needs to be there.
Plus, given his situation.
Like, just as a show of good faith, right? Like, hey, I'm part of the team.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. I mean, and you know what? He could have something going on and the team's fully excused it and said, you know, hey, you're fine. But still, I'd like to hear that reported if that's the case.
Desmond Watson is a big man.
But he's lost 27 pounds.
He can't move. I was just watching video of him running here from Pewter Report.
Oh, it's ugly watching him try to move around on the
running
stuff.
Running in quotations.
It's funny to try to watch him skip.
Yeah, do the skip. Like, dude, when they do the calisthenics, like some guys are hopping and they're just like at huge air, and this guy's like,
he barely gets his feet off the ground.
He can't. I think he's a project.
Did you hear what Todd Bowles said about him though? He says they would really like to get, because even at Florida, he was only good for 2 or 3 plays each drive. You know, he wasn't in there a lot. Todd Bowles came out and said, we'd really like to see him full. If he's going to play, we want to see him play. Like, there's no chance that he can ever get that kind of conditioning. No
way. And listen, he had 4 years at University of Florida to get that under control.
I don't know, maybe he didn't.
I mean, how much more motivated do you need to be? You're at the University of Florida in the SEC with an NFL contract waiting for you. And, had he lost, and I'm not trying to be mean or fat shame the guy. It's just, this is sports. Okay.
Yeah.
But I have had people, you see people come at him, he's just a big, whatever. It's just sports. It's a meritocracy. And he had an opportunity to lose a lot of weight. And I'm guessing folks at University of Florida tried to do that and encourage him a lot of different ways. And it just never really happened, but we'll see if, this is a different deal. It's pro football now. So we'll see. And I wish him all the best. If I'm a Bucs fan, I wouldn't, he's going to be our tush push guy.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Just because you weigh a lot doesn't mean you're a good football player and you're going to, and you can stop people. It
does not move
doesn't
very
correlate.
well. And you got to kind of move on the tush push, right? Even if it's not going the other way from where you are on the line, you still got to be able to get there.
You got to be an athlete. Yeah. It's not, otherwise we'd see a lot of really fat people playing football.
It's a fun story to follow for sure this offseason, but
I wish, of course, we're rooting for him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're a Bucs fan, I see a lot of Bucs fans, we get them a lot of attention.
Yeah.
It's, he's the tush put, blah, blah, blah. He's going to be lining up next to Vita Vea. They'll be unstoppable against the run. I'm like, give me Clyde Yancey.
Yeah.
He's a football player and a really good one. So and I kind of feel like he's getting short shrifted because everybody's talking about this guy. It's like, no, let's let him be in a practice squad this year. If he can help us for one game, great. But just let him. He's a project. He is just like Chukwuma, another project. And look at that guy's body. Holy hell! That kid, should be talking about him. He's not ready. He's not close to ready. Not close to ready, but he's got an opportunity to be kind of a DeMar Dotson. Once he learns the game, like DeMar was, I think, played 2 years of college football. He was a basketball player. Once he learned the game, he was really good. He was one of the best right tackles in the game. He was really, really good. Great feet, 6'9", 320, really, really good. And this guy, Chukwuma, has an opportunity to be there. Grew up as a soccer player. And you could see his athleticism, how he gets off the ball, just how balanced he is. And he's an athlete. That dude he once he learns how to play at this level, he could be a great find for this team.
Right.
All right. Back to comments. Nathan Elliott, good morning to you. Says Vita Vea and the Bucs D line have stopped the tush push plenty of times in the past. Not plenty of times.
Not plenty.
I think 3 times they've stopped it. The Bucs do not need him, but an ass and mass will be helpful. Ass and mass. Yeah, I think there's this feeling out there because the Bucs stopped it a couple times, and they stopped it a couple times, and then they still scored the touchdown. So it's, stopping it is not, I don't think Todd Bowles would say we've stopped it. I wouldn't, that's not a thing. Yeah, just yet. Let's see. Nathan says, Trey, Mr. Unreliable Palmer's realizing that this is on the bubble. He knows that Tez wants his job. Absolutely. That's one great thing about competition. Brings out the best in everybody. Lonnie Wilkins says, also, one day of Longo is the biggest signing the Rays have made in a year.
Wow.
Yeah. They're going to sign him for one day and then trade him the next.
That would be funny.
Hey, Drew Rays after he throws out the first pitch, you're like, the Rays would like to announce we're trading the rights of Evan Longoria to the Baltimore Orioles.
Trading the retirement rights of Evan Longoria for a player to be named later.
To the San Francisco Giants so he can get his send-off there as well.
Oh, my Lord.
So on brand, though. Here, tweet that out. JP says, the Rays have signed Longo for a one-day contract. He will be traded the next day. Yep. Lonnie asked, JP, are you going to the Rays garage sale to buy some water damage goods for charity? So they've announced this charity yard sale. Like, what?
Is it for charity or is it for Stu?
Yeah, let's see the books afterwards.
Yeah.
But what are they selling? Is it like the used equipment, I guess?
I mean,
mold infested seats from Tropicana Field.
God, I can only imagine.
Dugout water.
All the sheetrock they had to pull down.
They're going to take the flood waters that are now in the dugouts
and bottle it
from the last few weeks and bottle it up. Raise dugout water, $10. But it's going to charity.
That'd be a lot more than $10.
Yeah. $20 for raised charity water or raised dugout water. Oh my Lord. You're selling pieces of the Trop roof. What's next? Mold infested Artificial turf. Get your piece now.
Ugh.
Comes with black mold to get into your lungs.
Buy you some bleach. You'll be okay.
Yeah. Why aren't we
Right
selling
before
that?
hurricane season starts.
Why aren't we selling that? Smartass Rick says the Palau Pass, wasn't that the winning play in JP's fourth grade recess overtime game? The legend was born. Let me tell you something about my ring around the rosy.
Every
skills.
sport in elementary school.
There you go. What was the game where you held your arms out and then people tried to run through it?
Oh yeah.
What was that game?
What do they call that?
How many ulnar collateral ligaments did we ruin in that game?
I mean, you're kids. It's flexible.
yeah. How about when Desmond Watson was like, what?
Oh, God.
Red Rover, send Desmond on over.
Good
Everybody were
Lord.
like, run for the hills. Run for the hills.
Everybody just falls down.
Red Rover, that's what it was. Red Rover. Then you try to pick out the hottest girl. Like, send Jenny on over.
Please.
Hubba. Right?
Might try to use that as a new bar trick.
Yeah. Winnie Cooper, send her on over.
Oh, Winnie Cooper.
There ain't Winnie Cooper. Mike Edge says the Grand Prix of Monaco was this weekend. They do pit stops in 2.0 seconds.
That's because they don't fuel, and they don't ever put fuel in F1 cars, and
They don't?
they don't refuel during the race. They give them all the fuel for the race, and that's all they do is change tires, and they allow like 30 people over the pit wall. Well, there's not a wall, but like 30 people to work on the car. That's how they get it done in 2 seconds. Literally have everybody and their mother.
We had some bad pit stops. The rookie
Oh,
that started on the
man.
pole took out 3 of his teammates.
Dude.
His team members coming into the pit. That didn't, and slammed his car into the wall. Can we call that a rookie mistake?
Definitely.
What was his name? Schwartzman or
Robert Schwartzman? Yeah.
Yeah.
For Prima. Yeah, I mean, we had everything in the pits. We had the fire. We had Rossi's fire.
Yeah.
That was scary, man.
That was scary.
And then we had the spin at the beginning of pit lane. And I mean, we had
Yes.
everything in the pits that you could possibly imagine, including some really bad pit stops.
Yeah.
But
who was it that overshot in the key moment? Overshot his pit.
yeah, I forgot who that was.
Yeah, on his last stop.
There was a
killer.
couple of them that did that.
Yeah.
And again, it's cold track. You know, I mean, when your track temperature is in the 70s, you're going to get that. I don't care how warm the tires are. But look, going to Monaco, Mike, I love F1. Monaco to me though has almost become unwatchable. Just because, look, I don't want them to change the track because it's one of the most historic circuits in the series. But the cars are too big for competitive racing, and I know they're shrinking the cars next year. Different chassis are going to be a little smaller. They got to do something about the track, though. Somehow they need to rework it. I know you're in close quarters and tight turns. If you're going to run it there, there's not really a whole lot you can do, but
Right.
they've got to do something because the drivers hate it. The drivers don't even like it anymore. It's just
How can they race? How can they race around when Mickey Rourke's out there with the electronic
right with his
cables whipping people? I mean, is he still doing that?
It's one of the most
Is that
embarrassing.
still going on?
movies. Look, for such a great movie, they got so many things wrong about
What
the
movie
cars
was
on
that?
the
What
track.
was that?
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that. Mickey Rourke's out there with his electric cables smashing F1 cars.
Yeah, but they weren't F1 cars, though. They weren't even close to F1 cars. They were like, I don't know, Formula 3 cars or something. They're so stupid.
Wow.
We do have the new F1 movie coming out, though, that I can't wait for with Brad Pitt.
Yeah. When's that out?
I don't know. It's this summer, right?
Yeah. All right. We need another break real quick. Let's do another break. When we come back, I want to finish up the comments, a couple other Bucs things we got to get to, and some other things. So quick break here. We're brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Get your concierge doctor in Chris Lugo with this modern medical system we have going on now. It's a complete farce. The stories I could tell you. But which is why you have to have a concierge doctor that speaks the language would be good. That's a kind of a priority in medicine. which you don't always get with your primary care physician, as I found out last week. Holy hell. It can be a problem.
Got to have a translator.
Wow. BAMMC.com. That's where you go to get your concierge doctor. Chris Lugo is the best in the business. Make sure you have somebody who knows what they're talking about, looking after your personal health and not trying to protect the bottom line of the insurance company. BAMMC.com. Back in 3.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans and huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Golden and Diamond Source. Just a few more days to do their trade-in match, up to $2,500 if you bought something there and want to bring something in for trade. They'll match it up to $2,500 to give you $5,000 of spending power at the Gold and Diamond Source. That's a great deal. So go in and check them out at Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, about 15, 20 minutes from downtown Tampa with the new Howard Franklin. You zip right over there, and you can zip right back. Goldanddiamond.com is the website as well. All right, couple quick notes here. But did we mention that Baker Mayfield's out there at Bucs camp? He is. So Baker's out there.
I didn't mention him, but yeah.
All the new receivers. So that's good. Russia has been banned from the hockey Olympics. Not unexpected, but
1980 all over again.
I just don't like it when we get the politics involved in the sports and the Olympics. Those Russian players have nothing to do with what's going on geopolitically in Russia.
And they've been training their entire lives for this moment, and now you're taking that away from them.
I just don't get that. No. Like, that's going to make a difference. Oh, boy, they're going to come to the peace table now. Hockey team can't play in the Olympics. Like, what is the point?
How am I supposed to root against now?
Right. What is the point? You know, I feel bad for Vasilevsky and Sergachev and Kucherov. You know, they deserve to be in the Olympics.
Yep.
They deserve to play for Russia. They have nothing to do with this BS that's going on over there. And what is it going to do? Like, what is it going to do?
It's silly.
It's not going to change anything. But now, if you're a man with an X chromosome and you want to get into women's boxing, that's okay. The Olympics will sanction that. But no Russians.
Stupid. That's why the Olympics are stupid.
Yes. I did not agree with that one bit. So I want to talk real quickly. I mentioned it earlier, but just to say it again. So I went to the Orlando City soccer game, which they have this beautiful stadium downtown, Inter & Co Stadium. Little bit of a rough area, but the stadium is really cool. And they built it for $155 million. It's got we looked it up. It's got this cool overhang, lots of great food and beverage options. Seats are great. Like, it's great sight lines. It's very tight. It's very intimate. The great vibe. They have a great section of their loyal fans. They have the drums going the whole time. Now, the game got really boring because the Orlando City went up 1-0 and they're playing Portland, and they just sat back the entire second half, which I just freaking hate that for soccer. I mean, every time they got the ball over midfield, and made a run, there'd be 4 people across midfield, 4 attackers. That's it. Like, no support, no nothing. It's like, we're just going to sit back here. And now that was the end we were on, by the way. We were supposed to be scoring in the second half, but it was just like, God, I hate that about soccer. But it was only about half filled on a beautiful Saturday night. So, of course, I had to take a shot at all these Orlando people that keep ripping us. And I'm like, wow. Beautiful Saturday night for an MLS game, and the stadium's half filled, and we bought tickets literally for $5.
Wow.
$5, yeah. $5 on TickPick. We got 4 tickets for $20, and it was about probably 15,000 empty seats. I don't know what it seats, to be quite, and I'm not really picking on them, but it's just overall these Orlando people that just cannot stop getting out of their way to tell everybody how bad we are, that we don't. You guys have good baseball teams and you don't even fill the Trop and it's air conditioned. I'm like, you effing people have no idea what you're talking about. I've been covering this team for 30 years, since its inception, and they're terrible owners, especially this one is alienated teams. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the reasons we don't go to games. You don't effing know, but you're sitting here with a good soccer team who's in 5th place, I believe they are, and
25,000 is capacity, by the way.
Yeah, and so is that it?
25.5.
Wow, there are a lot of empty seats, but they say they do well in attendance. Okay, great, whatever. They're in the top 15 in attendance in MLS. Okay, great, but you only have 2 male professional teams, the Magic and you can't even support that, and they play 17 games a year, and you're not filling that stadium, but yet you want a baseball team and think it's going to be well attended for 81 games a year. Yeah, I don't think you're quite ready for the big leagues, Orlando. And that was my point, but of course that triggered those folks big time. So I know more about soccer attendance now than I ever really wanted to.
They don't even average 20. They're according to this, they're 18th in the league, averaging just under 20,000 per game.
And for 17 games.
Yeah.
In the good weather portion of the year.
You know, especially for being so cheap, right? Like it's very economical to take your family to a game.
Yeah, $5 tickets. And they couldn't, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that, folks. I mean, and I don't want to dump on Orlando. I just but these Orlando people act like Tampa's just trash. And Greg Warmoth, who I've known for 30 years in broadcasting, is on WFTV saying the Rays have no money, no stadium, no financing, and no land to build a stadium. Like, Greg, factually, that's all untrue.
Yeah.
Like, factually, all of that is completely untrue. So, I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous over there. Like Major League Baseball is not coming to Orlando, and the public officials know that. They're not falling all over themselves to say, yeah, we're going to do. I mean, you get a couple of knuckleheads, but they just want press. But no. So save me, Orlando people, from all your that you know what the hell's going on over here in terms of our attendance. Shut up. You have no idea. Oh, but you guys just don't even the playoff game. Shut up. Just shut up. I want to hear from you. All right, we'll do this at the end. JP, do you really want us on air with free beer, Radio Gold, or Dumpster Fire? That's Radio
Both.
Gold.
We'll take them both.
Yeah. So to reiterate, we have a special Rays happy hour coming up today, 5 to 6:30. Pregame libations for all. So we want to get you folks all liquored up for this game tonight. So come on down. We're going to put you on the radio. We're going to talk baseball. We'll have a fan mic there for you. So we'll talk a little baseball. And if you have a good take, I'm going to buy you a beer. If you have a good take, now it's going to be domestic draft for $3, but I'm going to buy you a beer.
Hey, a beer's a beer, man.
A beer's a beer. Don't be saying, ordering some expensive shot of whiskey or something because you ain't getting it. You get a free domestic beer. It's only $3 at Riveters. And plus you get the great food. I'm not sharing my wings with you. That's not happening either. But come on down, 5 to 6:30. Join us. We'll talk baseball. Fan mic will be open. The best take wins. I think it's 2 tickets, but it might be 4. At least 2 tickets right behind the dugout, row 1 behind the visiting dugout for tomorrow's Twins game. It's a 1:00 game. John Schneider's not allowed. It's too hot for you, Toronto people.
It's too hot outside.
So 2. I mean, those are 2. Let me just double check here real quick. It might be 4. 2 tickets. But we may do 4 later on. And we'll do another game in the future and we'll get 4 tickets. So 2 tickets to Wednesday's Minnesota matinee right behind the dugout. Awesome tickets we'll be giving away, but you got to be there to get them. And you got to come up on stage, give us a Rays take. And if it's a good one, I'll buy you a beer. The tribunal will vote. And the best take will win the tickets at the end of the day. How cool is that? That's
amazing. Yeah.
So come on down and join us. We'll be there. All right. Great job, Timmy. Appreciate you. Thanks to Erik Erlendsson for joining us. Great segment today. Great segment on Lightning stuff and playoff hocky. If you missed that, we'll put it out.
Stars. Go Stars.
Yeah, we're voting. We're rooting for the Stars. Stars, Carolina. Which ain't going to happen. But definitely when Stars Panthers hit, we're all in on Dallas. We are all in on Dallas.
Heck yeah.
So, we'll get it going. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Go Rays. We'll see you tonight, 5:00 at Riveters and on this channel as well. We'll be broadcasting. Get my blood work done.